Before there was Rex Lynn, there was Skeeter Lazuzzo, and before him, there was Narvel Blackstock, but don't forget that before him was Charlie Battles. Wait, who? Wow, y'all, I totally forgot that Reba was married before Narvel Blackstock. Charlie is a little bit like an enigma. You can search Reba's ex-boyfriends or even ex-husband, and there's a lot of news there. But Charlie? Not much. What happened? Reba is known for her impressive talents. In 1979, she scored a top 20 hit, and a year later, she cracked the top 10. Finally, in 1982, Can't Even Get the Blues hit #1, and this corndog-loving redhead never looked back. While we know a lot about her career, I also want to talk about the potentially controversial way that Charlie and the Fancy Singer got together. Come on, let's dive into some things you might not know about Miss Reba McEntire. Question number 1. Which George Strait song did Reba pass on? A. Does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind? B. Amarillo by Morning? C. Check Yes or No? Or D. I Cross My Heart? It's A. Does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind? This song would end up being a #1 hit for the King of Country, making it his 6th #1 at the time, but Reba passed on it because it made a reference to beer. The song ended up as the title track on George's 4th album, and it turned out alright though, because How Blue would be Reba's clinch at a #1 hit. It went #1 around the same time that Strait's did.
How can I go on loving you when you're gone? How blue can I feel?
Question number 2. Which A-list country singer auditioned to be McEntire's backup singer? A. Trisha Yearwood, B. Shania Twain, C. Faith Hill, or D. Amy Grant? C. Faith Hill. Reba was already one of the biggest names in country music in 1991. For Faith, Reba was one of her biggest inspirations. When she first moved to Nashville, her career was a little bit of a slow roll. She would bide her time by landing a side gig selling merch for Reba. That led to an audition to join Reba on the road as a backup singer, but Faith admitted in an interview with Larry King she wasn't a great backing vocalist. Quote, I didn't get it because I wasn't good enough. I don't think Faith had anything to do with that for me. I wasn't a great background singer and I didn't get the part. In a way, this turn down ended up being a lifesaver for Faith Hill. Reba suffered one of the most staggering losses in country music history in 1991 when a plane crash killed 7 of her band members and tour manager. Question number 3. Which former president is McEntire friends with? A. Barack Obama, B. George W. Bush, C. George H.W. Bush, or D. Donald Trump? It's C. George H.W. Bush. In 2006, Reba told Entertainment Weekly that she and the former president keep in touch via email. Quote, matter of fact, I was in New York one time during the World Series watching the game, and I saw President Bush and Barbara sitting behind home plate. I get on my Trio and I email him, hey, I see you on TV. Have a hot dog for me. I see him elbowing Barbara and pointing down to his Trio. Then he's just working on it. Pretty soon I get a message back from him, wait till so-and-so gets up to bat, and I'll wave at ya. When the former president died in 2018, Reba was there to honor him at the funeral, singing the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven.
We're about halfway through, and while I give your brain a break because I know I've dumped a lot of Reba information at you, I want to know why you love Reba McEntire so much. Comment below, and also, what's a favorite song of hers? Leave that below as well. Alrighty, y'all, let's go on, dive back in with question number 4. Growing up, Reba helped her dad do what to their cattle? A. Brand, B. Neuter, C. Feed, or D. Hoof trimming? It's B. Neuter. Yes, you absolutely heard me correctly. In her 1995 autobiography, Reba talks about her early days with the bulls. It was her job to castrate them, and then afterwards, she and her two sisters would carry the bucket of you-know-what to the house and clean them. Telling Country Weekly, quote, "We called them mountain oysters. Then we'd take them into Mama, and she'd slice them thin, roll them in flour, and fry them in hot grease in a huge cast iron skillet. I was literally raised on mountain oysters." And you wonder why the singer became a superstar in an industry dominated by men. Question number 5. Why did Reba divorce her first husband, Charlie Battles? A. Somebody cheated. B. He didn't want to have kids. C. He stifled her career. Or D. She's never said. It's C. He stifled her career. Reba and Charlie met when Reba was singing at a cattle ranchers and steer wrestlers rodeo event. Like a movie plot, Charlie was a steer wrestler champion, and it was love at first sight. They would get married in 1979, and here's where the more controversial part comes into play. He would leave his first wife for Reba, and y'all, there was a pretty significant age gap. She was 21 and he was 31 when they met. Yeah, that's 10 years. Charlie had 2 children, so at a young 21 years old, she not only became a wife, but also a stepmom to 2 children. That's a lot. As time went on, we all know that Reba's career exploded, and I found a piece in the Nashville Network that shed light on the shift that happened in their marriage. I think sometimes this industry can be hard when spouses aren't on the same page. There's a lot of sacrifice and dream chasing, and if the partner doesn't really understand, it can cause tension. Telling TNN's Ralph Emery, quote, "I said, no, I think it's time for me to kick it into high gear, and he said, oh, surely not. I think I chose career over marriage." He said he made business decisions that weren't good for her career and didn't want to be, quote, his little girl anymore. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I feel a little squirmy about that comment, but I mean, there is a 10-year age gap, and when you're that young, it makes sense that it almost feels a little bit like a mentor. According to ProRodeo.com, Charlie died in 2013 at the age of 68. He had suffered a stroke 7 years prior that left him partially paralyzed and limited in speech. I did a quick obituary search and found this. It states he died of heart failure and the complications from the stroke in 2006. Question number 6. Who was the first choice for her Does He Love You duet partner? A. Martina McBride, B. Dolly Parton, C. Shania Twain, or D. Winona Judd? It's D. Winona Judd. In 1993, Reba came out with her duet with Linda Davis, but Reba's label originally pushed hard for Judd on the track. Does He Love You was a song that produced a somewhat controversial and definitely dramatic music video. She wanted Davis, who, fun fact, is the mother of Lady A's Hillary Scott. She suggested that Davis record it as a fill-in. She knocked it out of the park, and they ended up keeping her on it.
Does he love you? Does he love you like he loves me? Like he loves me? Does he think of you? Does he think of you when he's holding me?
Before you head out, I want you to drop below the artists that we should cover next. I'm Addison Hager for Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, and as always, thanks for subscribing.